afternoon, race fans. Hello and welcome into episode number 51. What is that? Rowdy Bush, the number 51 on the Days of Thunder. Anyway, it's episode number 51. Last weekend, well, I killed the music too quick there, but welcome in with a little bit of Ted Nugent and Stranglehold to bring you in on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Folks, I got a hoodie on. That means it's getting close to hoodie, colder weather, and you got to love it. The motors start running and purring a little bit better at this time of year. But again, this is episode 51 of Clark After Dark. Football's back. Big racing all over the country, nationally, locally, and regionally. Tonight, I've got the 1994-1999 of the 2002 ASCS Sprint Car National Champion and the current owner-promoter of the Texarkana 67 Speedway over in Mandeville, Arkansas, joining us tonight in the form of Tim Crawley. We're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. We're going to kick it off with Tim. He's going to be our guest here this evening. We're going to talk about the big monster truck show that's taking place this weekend over at the Speedway, along with many other great things. The Short Track Nationals is coming up on us October the 24th and the 25th. Really, really excited about this year's Short Track Nationals at the Texarkana 67 Speedway. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my co-host of this podcast, Cortland Smith, along with the promoter of 67 Speedway, Tim Crawley. Tim, dude, I just want to ask you, right off, I mean, you look like you probably just got out of the shower. You look nice now, but I know you've been working your tail off all week. What have you done just today? What did you do today? What was your task at 67 Speedway today?
Well, I left home in Benton, Arkansas with a destroyed car on a trailer to bring in for the monster truck show. We needed 8, 10, 12, somewhere in that range vehicles. So I towed a car in today, unloaded it. Let's see, did a little of the promoting side, worked with the wife on upcoming race ads for a moment. Got on the bush hogged for probably 3 to 4 hours. Moved some more dirt around for these obstacles where the Insanity Tour has sent me an email and give me a little bit of a diagram. So I'm placing dirt, trying to get a little bit ahead of things. They do have a crew coming in, but I want to know, I'm pretty anal on a lot of things. So I'm putting dirt where I want it because I've got to put a racetrack back when they're gone. So kind of doing certain, there's certain dirt I don't want left on the track. And then, so I skid steered, took a lot of my cushion down. We got some surprises on how the trucks are going to enter the track. So I had to do a little back work to keep the wall from getting damaged or pushed on. So getting some dirt packed up there. Weed eated a little bit of grass, did some stuff in the concession stand, got the propane tank filled today. I don't know. You kind of caught me off guard, but anyway,
No, I know.
any
I love it.
day for me is like, I just take the hat and just spin it. It just goes round, round, round. I wear all the hats. You know what I mean? You just
I
never know
you
what
do.
I'm going to be doing.
I like catching you off guard, Tim Crawley. I like to catch you off guard every now and then. I mean, you're always up
I'm
on your
not
toes.
showered. I just threw this shirt on. My dirty ass t-shirt's laying right over there.
The point of me talking to you about all that is the grind just never stops, does it? I mean, even this weekend, right?
No.
We're not racing cars around the quarter mile this week. You've got a completely different task at hand, right? You got a monster truck show, which is really neat. You and I were talking on the phone yesterday. I told you about the monster truck show that we had, the outdoor show that we had at Boot Hill back in 2018. I mean, it was phenomenal, right? Like, I love the outdoor monster truck shows. I think it gives the monster truck drivers a lot more real estate out there to play around with. I think they can get up to speed a little bit more. Tell me about this monster truck show this weekend, kind of how it came about, and tell us what the fans can expect to see this weekend.
Well, backing way up, when we first acquired the racetrack, the Wisants had a contract with a group, and that ended up falling through. They canceled on us. So, I've had it in mind that we wanted to do a monster truck show because, like you say, these indoor arenas, the trucks really can't stretch their legs and do big air tricks, and it's just little blips of noise. And you get an outdoor facility like this, and especially the other element is we'll be able to, it's going to be under the lights. It's not going to be in the heat. It's not going to be out in the daytime. So the whole atmosphere, being a nighttime show, I think will be good. And all you got to do is start throwing the word monster truck around. You get these kids just buzzed, and so I don't know. I think we're a little over 800 tickets so far, this week. So I really think we're going to have a spectacular crowd. This Insanity Tour, last year at the PRI show, over the winter, I walked around, talked to several different, everybody and their brothers, uncles at the PRI shows. So there was probably half a
Yeah.
dozen monster truck groups there. And so I just kind of, we landed on a group that I feel like, is going to put on a good show. And that's where we're at. We've already got most of the obstacles are set. They're bringing in those tough trucks, which are kind of like you getting in your S10 and banging your head on the headliner as you go over some obstacles. They're bringing in that tough truck series. Should be pretty entertaining. So I'm pumped. I'm a little kid when it comes to playing in the dirt. That's all I've ever done my whole life. I've motocross raced. I've won. I'm not sitting here doing this, but I won state championship deal on a four-wheeler motocross. I mean, I've played in the dirt my whole life. So we had a hellacious pit bike track that, thoroughly pissed the neighbors off all the time in my backyard for a long time. We all played on pit bikes. And so this whole thing just, I mean, it just falls into my category of fun. So out there getting to build these jumps and obstacles and this deal, it's just fun for me.
You know what blows my mind is how these monster trucks just continuously sell out. Like if I don't know if you saw, but they sold out
Yeah.
Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It holds like 68,000 people. They sold that out. I
Yeah.
mean, kids love big trucks and big wheels. I mean, that's all there is. And it kind of makes me jealous, right? Like, and I'm sure you feel the same way as a promoter of dirt track racing. Like, I wish that we could find a way to bottle that. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, it's all about the product that you're putting out there, right? And I mean, we try to put the best product we can out there for dirt track racing, but it is, man, it's just kind of wild to see the kind of support that these monster truck events get, man. I mean, the kids love them. So I'm not going to say the parents are forced to go, but I mean, the parents love getting involved and getting their kids out there to events like this too. So I think that's one thing about that these monster truck events do, man. They get the crowd involved. And I mean, it just seems like a pretty good family ordeal to go to, right?
We'll see. Like I say, this is going to be our first, but we've got good traction. The analytics with the monster truck group looks good on that side of things. So I've got pretty good pre-sales going. So I'm pumped. I think it's going to be a good show. I'll have a lot of work to do, after Saturday night. Of course, they help dismantle everything, but we'll get everything dialed in and get ready for another one of our series nights the following Friday. So. But no, I'm pumped. I think the weather looks great. By nighttime when the sun goes down, I think we're going to have beautiful weather. I think it's going to be real close to where it is outside right now. So I mean, I think it's going to be perfect. We're stocking up the cotton candy and all the kids stuff. That they're going to want to die for in the concession stand. We're getting that piled in there, and we'll be ready to rock.
So Tim, to kind of turn this back, like you said, you're gonna get ready for your another regular series night after the monster truck show. What truly is your favorite part of the promoting? Like you said, you love to play in the dirt. So is it out there getting on the skid steer and bobbing around, or is it going and buying the cotton candy and the prep work, or is it on the Saturday or Friday night when the races are all over and you've had your product put out there in front of a bunch of people? What really is your favorite part of promoting?
Man, I probably don't have a real good single answer for that. I don't guess. I do know what's gratifying to me is, and I take to this rate the promoting side of this just like I did racing. So a lot of things are a challenge to me. So I pour my heart and soul in every night trying to. I get all these people, they cry and complain. Oh, track's too heavy. Track, man, just don't give me that crap. We have a cushion and a bottom about 90% of the time and a slick middle when you come to Texarkana. That's pretty standard. Um, and the only way you can really do that without having a lot of track rework or prep during intermission, you got to go kind of hard early. You know what? You're preaching to the choir if you start talking to me about, track conditions, brother. I've done it all. I didn't complain. I went down there and I conquered the racetrack that was in front of me. If it's a little bit hooked up, I go down there and do something in my car to accommodate. I don't cry about it. I go conquer the condition. My thing is, I like to have the racetrack a certain way to where the fans aren't getting just boiled with dust. Come A main time, I want a slick middle. I want people hugging that berm on the bottom and knocking the wall down. That's what puts people on the edge of their seat. These snooze fests, rubbered up, riding around the bottom, put people to sleep. I'm not about that. Um, my satisfaction, how I'm trying to answer this for you is
You
that
good?
is my goal every week. If I can stand in that infield and watch people hugging the bottom, the guys that like to, your bottom feeders, your guys that like to do slide jobs, your guys, like Keaton that'll just literally try to knock our wall down. I mean, I like to see all of that happening. If I see all that going on, man, that's what makes me tingle. That's when I know, man, you've hit it. And there's so much, it's so hard because the wind, cloud cover, the heat, the rain in the middle of the week, every single week it's different. You cannot every week go do the exact same thing like prep wise and get the same results every time. You got to sit there. I've got to a point where I kind of Tommy Estes is like a hero to me. That guy was a phenomenal director for ASCS. He's a phenomenal promoter. The guy can do a little bit of everything. He can work equipment. He's run racetracks. He's run I-70. Tommy come over actually year before last, right before our USAC race, and literally we kind of talked about how he schedules his prep days and he works backwards. He takes the clock and documents and he goes backwards. He's like, well, if you need to be here at 5, this is your goal where you want the water, where you work backwards. And you got to figure out your loads of water and timing, put 6 loads in here, 6 loads in here, 6 loads in, 6 loads. And so there's so much more to, and then the minute cloud cover, some clouds can come over on a hot day and just get rid of the sun. Well, that almost adds a water cycle because normally where you can't keep it wet, that cloud cover can almost buy you a round of water. So, I mean, that's the challenging thing to me. Track condition, watching good racing, that's number one on my list. But the other thing, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, is just seeing families, kids. Our sport has always, to me, just took a huge kick in the nuts from everybody wants to look at it as, and it still happens. I mean, but it's rednecks and overalls with the windows kicked out of jalopies out there fighting, drinking beer. They don't understand the level of professionalism, the kind of money and the equipment that's in these pit areas. And to me, we still fight that stigma in the dirt track world. Um, you know, uh, there's guys, if you want to call the tuner class or sportster class, whatever you want to call the lowest class, they still pour their heart and soul, their paychecks, they devote their lives to the sport. And
Mhm.
people don't, our general fans, a big population just don't get that. They just don't understand what the sport's all about. But so I enjoy getting new fans. I really love this. I love to hear somebody come up and go, man, I had no idea. I had no idea the place looked like this. I had no idea this kind of racing went on here. I love to hear that because I feel like it's much needed. When you look around the stands and all these people look like my chin, and we don't have enough youth in there. What are we
Facts.
going to do when those people are dead and gone? We got to get a youth movement going, no matter what. If it's kart racing, even our Power Wheels nights. Man, I love seeing those kids out there.
I do
I
too.
guarantee you, I know it takes and it adds a little bit of time to our program, but I know for a fact these kids all week long, they're looking at our schedule. They know how to type on there and go, when's our next Power Wheels race? Those kids eat that stuff up, man. And and honestly, that's between the kids and track condition. New fans, kids, track condition, that's probably my big moments at the racetrack, I would say. The rest of it's just a bunch of damn work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, my friend. It really is. And there's
It's
not a
a
day of the week.
lot
Like
of
if
work.
I talk to you on the phone, you're typically en route from from Benton to 67 or vice versa. I mean, the work is never done, right? And it's always, but I would imagine, Cortland asked this question. I mean, I hope, Tim, that you are at least able to grasp and at least get that feeling of gratification every once in a while, because I know as much as hard as you work at it, I know that events like the short track nationals, if that's a home run at the end of the night, if I can walk up to you and give you a high five because I know the night went to your expectation, that's what you're looking for. And we get that. And that's what we want. How frustrating is that? Okay, you have the short track nationals, right, at I-30 Speedway for so many years. When did that event start, Tim, actually, the short track? What was the first year that event was held at I-30?
Ooh, man, you're asking me some
I
stuff
should
here.
probably do better
I
research.
think, well, what's 38 minus now? 25. This will be the
Quite a few.
38th thing.
Cortland's the
Oh,
mathematician here.
somebody look up
I'm
that.
drawing a blank.
2025 minus 38.
1987. We got her.
Yeah.
1987.
87.
There you
Wow.
go. 87 then would have been about the first year. And that was 87 was my car number for the majority of my life. And 1987 was my worst racing year ever.
Wow. So Mother Nature has spoiled the short track nationals party since moving from
Twice.
I-30 to 67. But I mean, and I think that if you were to go around and you ask the sprint car community about the short track nationals, I think they would unequivocally tell you that this is one of the best sprint car events in the country with so much rich history in it, right? Like you could go through the list: Gary Wright, Sam Haferty, Aaron Reitzel, you, Tim Crawley, and we could just continue to name, just
You got
the who's who in sprint car racing over the last 30 years, right? And
yeah,
I know that you're
Christopher
trying to
Bell.
Christopher
You
Bell,
got
Blake
Bell,
Hahn. Yeah,
Kinzer,
I mean,
Studs.
shit,
Swindell.
just studs.
Dude,
And
you
so,
got them all. Aaron
and I
Reitzel.
know, yeah, they're all of them. But we're trying to recapture that magic that I-30 had over there for so many years. But you've been battling the weather, right? You haven't been able to get one of these events in since you've acquired 67 Speedway. I'm sure, number one, that's very frustrating because this is supposed to be your marquee event. I mean, hell, you've got short track nationals painted nicely on the back straightaway concrete so everybody can see it all year just to get there for the damn thing to rain out again. But this year, all we're doing from this point forward, Tim, we are being positive. We are getting the short track nationals in this year. And that's the only way you can go about it. But dude, I'm really excited about the short track nationals. How excited are you to finally get this short track nationals in this year?
Man, I'm with you. We need it desperately because if we don't, we keep losing it, it's going to lose its momentum.
Exactly.
We got to get this thing in and get this thing woke back up. Get our big names in the house. We'll come out with it real soon. We've got the whole thing laid out. We're just probably maybe even within 24 hours of pushing the go button. But we are gonna, for a lot of years, it was sprint cars only, no support class. But we are gonna run a stock car race both nights with it this year. Fix to make, pull the plug on that. That'll all come out probably tomorrow, actually. But we are going to run stock cars on both nights, Friday and Saturday, with short track nationals. Had a lot of people ask in the past, hey, why don't you run us? Why don't you run us? They want to be there anyway, and it's just a plus if they can come race. So, but yeah, we really need to get it in really, really bad to get the thing back, on the map. It needs to blast in there. Everybody needs to watch it on TV. Everybody needs to come, get the party going, get the campers out there and get the atmosphere woke back up and get it back on the ground running again.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it? I mean, this race personally has to mean a lot to you too, right? As a former winner of this event. I mean, your son now races nationally, right? Congratulations to him, by the way. I told you that through our phone call last night. Hey man, make sure you tell Landon good job, man. 5th up there with the World of Outlaws the other night. A lot of people just we could have you on for 3 or 4 hours, Tim. Like there's so much different shit we could talk about tonight. But I mean, I was about to dive off into the whole Landon Crawley. We were going to get into that, but we'll save that for another time too. But just really proud of that young man. I like the learning curve in this sport. Golly, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get your lumps. It's just like a rookie quarterback, right? Playing in the NFL. He's gonna take his lumps. It just takes time. You gotta build into what you're getting. But man, I was really proud to see he had a really good run the other night because I know they've been chipping away at it. And that was great to see. But man, the short track nationals, like that event has to just mean a hell of a lot to you. And the last 2 years, it's just been dropped on its head. And I mean, thankfully, you guys just haven't scrapped it entirely, right? But like you said, you're trying to maintain the buzz that this event has carried with its name over the years. I mean, like I said, it's one of the most popular events, I would say, in the country for sprint cars. And it's just, I mean, damn. I mean, you're just up against the wall, each year around October, early November with this weather.
Yeah, it definitely means a lot to me. I mean, I ran it from 1990 till I retired. I run till the track shut down. I ran the last one and I run it. I only missed, which I wasn't in sprint cars yet, but I only missed 87, 88, 89. So if there was 38, you might say I was present of, well, I think I participated in 32 of them.
Wow.
I ran 32 short track nationals, I believe it was what it was when I-30 shut down. So yeah, which the racetrack just a few miles down the road from where I was born and raised. So definitely my home track. I ran it before the Clays, on the racetrack, from the previous owner all the way through the entire time the Clay family on the racetrack. I was at every one of them. So yeah, it means a lot to me. And then I'm honored, honestly, for Tracy to put her trust and faith in us, keeping the thing alive. The Ralph Henson Memorials, we've gotten several of those in, and that's become a staple event. How we packed the house on all of those. Everybody knows the quality of that fireworks show, and we had a really good Ralph Henson again this year. And our ASCS, our national show this year was one for the record books.
It was
There's
incredible.
people just ranting and raving all over the place about what that race was like that night. There was like 6 lead changes, like in 2 laps, literally.
It was,
We had 1 lap. There was almost 2 lead changes per lap, you might say. Each corner was just a slide job fest. And that, going back to what you're talking about, when I see drivers, a lot of things, when they come in and tell me, hey man, this is the same rubber on my car right now that I hot lapped on. They're not chewing tires off their cars, and they're putting on a show like that. That's the gratifying part for me. Because we would come to Texarkana years ago and literally have to take seasoned tires that we'd set outside to see how hard we could get them, because the place would take rubber. Usually the last heat race, or for sure if there was a B main, it was rubbered up around the bottom, and they would come to us and say, hey, we're going to have to cut the race 5 laps in the feature because y'all probably ain't gonna make it on tires. That was the norm for 67. It just would rubber up. I mean, it just sucked right around the bottom. You come in with 3 bald tires. I mean, you just knew it. Every time you come here, it was like that. Now, granted, I had my tricks. I love the track. I won a handful of them, but we hated coming because your tire bill paralleled what you won. And that was my goal going in, is just to squash that. I just didn't want that to happen anymore. And so far, we've been successful with that.
So I'm going to ask, I know y'all are sitting there talking about getting this short track nationals back going again, but I'm going to tell you right now, from a late model guy down in Alexandria, Louisiana, I am absolutely ecstatic about this short track nationals, Tim, because you have made me 100% a fan of sprint car racing, especially at 67 Speedway. And I just got to ask, man, I was blessed and fortunate to be able to work the Mike Parker memorial event that you had there earlier this year. And dude, when I come out of the press box and took me a little bathroom break, because we were up there for like 8 hours, Zach, and I had to go use the bathroom. I wasn't prepared for that part of my job. But when I went down, man, the fans were a vibe. The beer garden was popping, concession stand rolling, dude. Like I told Zach, like that place is just a vibe, man. And I can tell just the passion you have. And just like you said, you treat it like your race program. And I know your race program was legit as all get out, and how serious you take it. But man, what is that special key? And I don't think people really appreciate it yet, because man, I've been blessed to travel to a lot of places across the country when I was working with in my late model past. But dude, that place has just got something going on. And I know a lot of it goes to you and your staff and how much hard work. But is there any fine tooth thing that you can say, man, this is why it's so good, or we're just steadily building up? Because like I said, I'm not worried about the short track nationals, because I don't think I'll be able to attend because of football stuff, but I will definitely be watching and spectating and exciting for it. So I guess back to my original question, what is that key thing that you think that is making this place so special? Because I'm telling you, from an outsider in, dude, that 67 Speedway is just a place you want to be on a dirt track night.
It's a vibe.
I don't
It's
think
a vibe.
it's one certain thing. It's just day one, when me and my partner dove into this, I set for, we took it over on my birthday, December the 20th, when the property was closed on. And from that December 20th till we finally got a race in, I think our first event was actually a Comp Cam's late model race. Our first couple got rained out and we got comp in. That was our first race. But I honestly, I sat at night, and because I'm not gonna lie to you, I retired racing, kids going at it full bore. I-30 closes down, and boom, we step into this racetrack deal. And I'm telling you right now, it was not. I'm telling you, it was a lunch meeting on a whim. To hell with it, let's go for it. I'm telling you, there was not a
Crazy.
lot of debating or pre-thought or studying anything or business plan. It was just like, boom, let's go. And I'm telling you, it just rocked my world. I mean, yes, I'm thoroughly ecstatic to be in this position to get to do this, but was I totally ready? I mean, I don't know if you're ever really ready. You know, the only way you get your feet wet, you just go throw them in the water. And that's what we did. So um you know, I don't really know. The vibe, I think, is a, attributes a lot of things. I made my notes of everything that I didn't like, because man, I've raced all over the United States. I've been very fortunate. I've raced in Juarez, Mexico, Washington. I've been to PA, now chasing my kid around a year ago. I got to get out, and man, I go around and I take pictures of concession stand pricing. I look at bathrooms. I look at stuff that I never looked at when I raced. You know, when I raced, I'm dialed into a track condition, what I got to do to get the lion's share of the pay window. That's all I cared about. Now I go to racetracks and I'm just looking at everything. I'm looking at their
Yeah.
equipment, what tillers they got, what packers they got, what rippers. I go to their concession stand. I take pictures of their menu and their pricing. I just look at everything racetrack wise now. And I think our vibe is because I I truly made a lot of notes on what I disliked about racetracks. And so we work really hard at, I've got a fabulous group of people. We have a hell of a team. I've got friendly, good people in the concession stand that care about the food they hand you. My
Yep.
wife, my partner, are we sit there and we mop the bathrooms with Fabuloso so they smell nice when
Yes.
you come in there. I
Yeah.
always said, you know, I talk somebody into going to a race somewhere and they come back and go, man, why you tell me to come here? My wife will never come here again. You see them bathrooms, you know? So I sit there and I try to look at every aspect of what fans, racers, I'll go back to a racer for a minute. We're all ignorant. We are dumb as shit. We'll go put up with anything.
Hold on.
We will
Hold on.
pay way too much for a pit pass. We will go take a dump in a bucket if we have to. We'll do anything, but those fans don't have to do that. The
No.
racers will, we're just stupid as the day is long. Fans, they don't have to do that. So you come in, you burn them in nasty bathrooms, bad food. Then the wife and the kids are probably not going to go. They're going to tell the guy that loves the racing, you go, we're staying home. So that's, I think everything that we've sat there and tried to dial in is speed up the races, get stuff on the track, keep the announcing exciting, clean bathrooms, good food, price the food to where you're not getting what I call raped by venue pricing, you know, event pricing. All of that stuff, I think, adds up to a vibe. I think. I don't think it's one thing. I think it's a matter of, you know, I bust my ass to have everything weed eated, not a piece of trash laying anywhere. I walk around, I look for, you know, something's broke in the grandstands. I'm over here welding, fixing. I try to keep everything just as high and tight as I possibly can. And I think that's resonates a vibe. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Our people that we have, we've got, there's always mistakes. I don't care who you are, what you do, but we've got a phenomenal group of people. You know, in the very beginning, I brought about 70% of I-30 Speedway over here with me. Now that's dissolved a little bit, but you know, now we got Marla and Tracy still comes when we need her. And so the core of what I had behind me, I had no doubt that I had the right people in place. A lot of worries I didn't have. I knew the officiating and the scoring and all that stuff. And the flagman, I didn't have any issues. So then it just became concentrate on the food, the clean bathroom, and the racetrack condition and all that. Now, if I would have had to train new people or brought people in that's never lap counted or did anything like that, then we'd have had a lot of obstacles to try to overcome. But I was fortunate enough to bring a unbelievably good group of people in just day one. And so it just helped us. The ball rolled pretty quick, pretty decent, just right off the bat because of all those people, I think.
They're
But
all a joy to work.
I think the vibe is just built from all the little things, honestly.
Yep.
I don't think there's any one certain thing. I just think it's built because of a army of people. I mean, I really do.
Yep. Takes a lot of little things all put together to make one thing great. I tell you what, and Dan, you do have a phenomenal staff over there. There's not been a time that I show up to that racetrack and I get a weird feeling from it. Like everybody's always in a great mood, like all the concession stand ladies, and that's what you need, right? You got to have ladies down there serving up the food with a smile. I mean, everything just works in unison, man. It's awesome. Like I enjoy showing up to that racetrack. I really do. Like, and I'm not gonna say I dread going anywhere else because I don't, but I do thoroughly enjoy going to 67 Speedway. I consider it one of my home racetracks, and man, I couldn't be any prouder of you, Tim, honestly, and everything that you've accomplished over there, man. Because you basically, and listen, the Wizards did a much needed facelift to this place when they acquired it from the prior owner, right? They put the new press box, but I mean, y'all have just added on to it and made it so much better on top of what they already did to it. And I understand it's just an ongoing process and everything you have to continue to do there. One of the things that I've loved that you've done this year that I have a lot of respect for, and I didn't know we were going to talk about all this, but why not? Let's just get to it. The Simmons Bank 67 series. While we've sat here and we've talked all evening long here about the short track nationals, right? That's for sprint car drivers. We talked about this and that and everything else about this racetrack. What I love so much is how you've put back in for the local racers this year, right? The Simmons Bank 67 series. It's really allowed, it's given local racers an incentive to want to race at 67 weekly, obviously. And that purse has continued to grow throughout the year. I think that's pretty badass, honestly, because listen, you put together a class this year, the Sportster division, that has never raced in this Texarkana area. I get it. Boot Hill just started it last year. But I mean, you really had to step out on a limb to say, okay, 67 is going to run the Sportster class. You knew you were going to have to need support. And guys from Louisiana, I mean, a lot of them have come over, like the Chad Calendars, the Jarrett Stricklands, and Michael Turner. A lot of these Louisiana guys have continued to come over and race with you every Friday night and support. I think a big thanks to this Simmons Bank 67 series sponsorship and the money that's on the line there. I think that's just been awesome. And let's talk a little bit about this Simmons Bank 67 series for all your weekly warriors, man.
Yeah, that was something that, this year for 25, we wanted to, the first year was Mother Nature was just a rain out. I mean, we literally got rained out all year. So we didn't get a measuring stick or a gauge of nothing really year one. Year two was just slightly better. We still didn't get a lot. I wasn't able to really gather much useful information even after year two. But I also knew that, and I don't even know when or if or ever, if anybody in past years had done much for a point series or have a banquet or get people wrapped up in. I hate to. It kind of, I don't know. In a way, to me, calling it weekly kind of degrades it. That's why I never use that term. I don't want
Yeah.
it looked down upon as, oh, it's just a weekly show. We're not going. I don't want that. That's why we try to call it the Simmons series. It's not a weekly race. It's a hell of a
Yeah.
show. The thing that's just really blew me away when we sat down and I structured all this, I really thought that the IMCA modified class, the open mods, would probably be the weakest class of the year, and it's totally fooled me. It's
Yep.
absolutely been one of the best. And we've had, so it seems like we have a lot of guys that each week we never know who's going to come, but it's like they're off from their series because there's 14 million of them, but they're off from their series. They want to get some laps on their new car. So we get a Tom's guy or a USRA guy or a
Yeah.
USMTS guy. You got all these. It's a mess. But anyway,
We
we don't even
agree
go
here on
there.
Clark After Dark.
I just, and I get it. I mean, trust
know.
me, I've done this mess my whole life. I understand. But at the same time, that's why we just chose to do the rules. We tack them. we look at them, but it's not, I even told the guys, run a bead lock on the right front. We don't care. That might save a caution and a flat. Fine with that. These guys come, we make sure their deck heights don't get crazy. We make sure they don't try to slip in there and put crazy spoilers on them. We're looking at the rules. We make sure their weight's right, their tires are right. But they're not going to come in there with all aluminum dry sump motor and run. So if it's a USMTS, Tom's, USR, all that, we let it go. But the series deal, we never, day one, in my mind, I went back again on those notes. And I'm like, man, I understand that so many tracks, we all have to get in this back gate promotions, like where we ain't got nobody in the stands. So we got to do it all in the back. Well, they charge you to park, they charge you transponder fee, a draw fee, my sister's fee, my dad's fee. I mean, it's just all these fees. It's pit pass, and then I got to draw, and then you want to charge me to park. And so, in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to charge nothing but a pit pass on this race. Well, that's what we did for the first 2 years. So then I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? $20, a simple $20 registration fee. If we all would just say, okay, it's $20 to register, we don't take $5 of that, $10. We take 100% of that registration fee and put it in your point fund. I had a guy ask me one night, he goes, well, I'm not running for points. I said, okay, that's your draw fee, it's your registration fee then. I almost once, just to see if anybody would even catch on, I started to say, look, breaking news, the track is going to match your $20 registration fee for the rest of the year. Well, it's the same difference, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm like,
Yeah.
but that would just take care of the mindset of some people, I'm not
Yep.
running for points. Why I got to pay $20? Well, you're paying a registration fee then. Forget about it. But
Yeah.
here's the deal. You take 10 cars show up, that's $200. You
Yeah.
have 20 show up, that's $400. If you'll sit there and look at our Simmons, our account across the board, I'm not positive. I'd have to go look. I'll get Laura to probably post that this week again, but I think they're all somewhere around $3,000. We put
Yeah.
1,000 in the beginning to get it started, to guarantee if we'd have raced one night, it would have sucked, but we would, we'd paid somebody $1,000
Yeah.
to win a championship. We arranged a banquet, is it 24th, 26th January? Don't hold me to that, but we got a banquet in January, third weekend in January here at Holiday Inn Convention. These bags here, these gear bags, are some of the stuff we're going to start more and more. We'll start acquiring and accumulating the stuff that we're going to do for our championship, our banquet. But I just sit there and I'm like, these guys, and I'm not going to point any fingers at any series or nothing like that, but they commit to running whatever they do, whatever series they run all year long, to commit to a points deal, and they go run all these races and they get this much money. We can, and I also wanted to come up with a way to where a guy could say, if we run, I had 15 races that we put on the schedule. So what I come up with is 10 or more drop 2, 9 down drop 1. All that's going to mean is if we finish the year, I think we're on 9 now. Let's say the year's over. We get rained out the rest of the year, points are over. We're going to count the points on 8 races, what that means. So in other words, if a guy commits to running all of them, his odds are better. But if a guy also misses a night, he wants to go to Rocket and run this special, or he misses one night and goes to Boot Hill, or he misses one night, he's not going to be totally out of a chance of winning our championship. If we get to 10 or more, we're going to drop 2. That way, but anybody that commits to running them all naturally is going to have better odds, because when they do their drop, they're just dropping their worst night. They're not dropping per se a 0. But so I just sat there in my mind. I just ground a way that people wouldn't totally lose their points if they miss one night, and also a way to generate income to where they'd have a decent check at the end of the year without, it's their money, but at the same time, man, it's only $20. And most people draw that. They charge that for draw and transponders at majority of tracks you go to. We don't. So I'm like, it's got to work. It's got to work. In the bank account, in all, think about this. Somebody in the tuner class at 67 Speedway is going to get a check for $1,000 for running 67 only.
Yeah.
$1,000 to win the points championship in the tuner class. The Sportster guy, whoever wins Sportsters, $1,000. And the way the deal's looking, it's going to pay back. We'll come up with, what I've already kind of got some percentages and breakdown on how we'll do it. But and it's funny to me that all the classes are so close in money. I figured there'd just be one breakaway, but they're all relatively close. So pretty pumped about that. I'd really like to get it to where we get a sponsor or two, or things go right. I'd love to be able to just double that for 26. Just literally make that
Hell
deal
yeah.
double.
Hell yeah.
And that's perfect scenario, perfect world. I hope we can make that announcement at the banquet tour. We can just double the thing. I think that'd be tremendous. And pretty much
Man,
just do what we did this year again. Just try to make that points deal double what it was this year.
sitting here talking to Tim Crawley, Cortland, you can tell Tim's wheels never stop turning, right? Like I'm sure him and Laura,
I don't even sleep good at night.
I wonder if you even sleep. Like
Anymore, I
wonder.
wake up at 3 a.m. Yeah, I wake up at 3 to 5. I've got something going on. I keep waking up at 3, and then I'm dead at 5. Don't want to get up, but no, I do. My gears grind constantly. It's just the way I'm wired. That's why people had a hard time outrunning me when I raced, because I was the same way. I mean, I wake up and I'd write notes down on what I was fixing to go do in the shop at 3 in the morning. Sometimes just get up and go do it. Because that's what it's all about. You get out of anything what you put into it. If you, hustle pays dividends to me.
Separations in the
You can
preparation, right?
outmoney me. You can outmoney me. You can easily outsmart me. I'm not that
Outwork me.
intelligent, but I promise you can't outwork me.
I love it.
And that's what won a lot of my races. That was my grind.
Well, sir, you're a 3-time ASCS national champion. I don't know if you won any USCS championships. Terry Gray won all of those, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I won some of them. We didn't
Yeah.
commit to, like, he had the years. We're kind of jumping all over the place here, but I had a
It
10
happened.
and a half year stint with Mike Ward in that 88 car.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was thinking this the other day. I need to call Mike and thank him again, because
You and
the
Mike
older
raced
I
together
get,
from 2002 up until the end, or was it 07 until the end? Y'all were together for a good while. Y'all won a lot of
well,
races together.
I drove for, I thought I would retire when Mike decided he wanted to quit and retire. But then that Ronnie Pitts from home called me, and I run a few more years in that 1X car. Ronnie was a phenomenal car owner
Yeah.
too. But the years I had with Mike Ward, man, I'm telling you, only regrets I have in life and racing, I wish me and Mike would have got together, which he wouldn't have raced then, but I wish I could have put me and him together when I was 20 years old. Man, there would have been some pissed off people. It would have been a bad day for a lot of folks. Me and Mike won a ton of races together, but if me and him would have got together, both of us earlier on, it would have been ugly. It would just been a bad deal.
I
That guy
love it,
was
dude.
he was so phenomenally, it's like anal to the 10th. He's just a
Prepared.
perfectionist, and he was so good to drive for.
Oh yeah.
He didn't give me any shit. I drove for him for 10 and a half years, and we kind of had words one time in 10 and a half years. He understood occasionally I was going to do some dumb shit, and occasionally he might miss. But man, dude, that was, I was living high on the hog those 10 and a half years. That guy, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, you and him wouldn't have, like, you wouldn't have left the team kind of like Gio left his team into the start of the Knoxville Nationals. Just all kind of crazy shit going on. Sprint car silly season is full force right now, right? Like,
It's
it's
the
crazy. Like, we could take this.
wildest.
We
Yeah,
could go so many ways.
it's the wildest sprint car season I've ever witnessed in my life, period. From the injuries,
Yes.
all the ride swapping, the record breaking, the upsets. I mean, look what Ryan Timms just did. Ryan
Yeah.
Timms just won 2 races that there's no piece of paper, ink pen anywhere that will draw that one out. That just was not supposed to happen. Either one of those
No.
shows, the Tuscarora or the Knoxville Nationals, Ryan Timms, that's just upset as a century. I don't
Incredible.
mean that degrading him. It's
Right.
just on paper, you look at the just odds. Anybody that would have been gambling odds, they'd have lost their ass on that. You know, that you just wouldn't have. Yes, he's been fast at Knoxville all year, but man, the stars aligned. The kid drove his ass off, and not only did he win both of those races, he did them dominantly.
He
I think he
dominated.
started. I think he started 8th at the
Eighth. He
Tusky,
started eighth
and Port
Yes.
Saturday. Yeah.
Royal is no joke. That
No joke.
place, and it's usually dominated by the Pennsylvania people that are so. And Aaron Reutzel's he's just phenomenal at PA. And here the guy podiums the deal, walking around on crutches with a crushed damn foot. Then you
I
got
was like
Justin Grant. Grant just rolled out
on
here,
one foot.
dude, with a destroyed foot and just broke Dave Darland's all-time. Grant is now
USAC
the
win.
all-time USAC winner,
Yeah.
over 100, whatever it is, 9,900 shows.
Incredible.
And dude, there's stuff going on. It's just crazy. You know, Brian Brown had to get out. He couldn't. Both hands broke. You know, he tried, but he didn't have the grip strength, and so he bowed out. But man, these guys, you know, they're just phenomenal. These guys are badasses. You know,
Yes.
these guys flip their ass off, and in a minute they're right back. You know, dizzy,
I know.
seeing stars. They don't quit. You know, they're like
Yeah.
motocross guys. You know, they're just studs. Um, and you take Grant and Reitzel and Brownie and you know their injuries and what they're overcoming and doing this year's. Yeah, it's not a silly season. It's just crazy. And now with the announcement with Sheldon leaving, you know, the Stenhouse Marshall deal and
Yeah.
man, it's
And
just and the
Halden
Donnie,
killed
the shots
Sheldon.
deal, that blew me away. I honestly thought that they would probably go down. Everybody had heard or knew it was kind of coming, but we really figured it would go to the season's end
Right.
and then. But you know, that's what I'm saying. That these deals, just because they look like concrete, sometimes they're not necessarily concrete. You know, it's everybody can lose their seat.
Yeah. Man, it was something you mentioned there, and I wasn't sure I was going to talk to you about this. You talked about injuries, you talk about silly season, you talk about all of these things. Are these any kind of things that you can prepare your son for, or are these just things that he's going to have to go through and learn for himself? Considering your career in sprint car racing, like all the things you've been, like you could talk to Landon all day long about this and that, and what your expectations may be, but until he just goes out there and does it for himself, what kind of insight? Just kind of back to the way the first way I formed that, like what kind of is there much insight you can give him in this? Because you're going to learn it, the hard way or
Are
the easy
you?
way. Whatever way is the easiest way.
Yeah, I mean,
That makes
I'm
sense.
not sure 100% on your question. I mean, you mentioned injuries, but I mean, what?
Yeah, no, I'm saying like how, like we know that that's a part of sprint car racing, right? Like as a parent, like as Laura, as Dad Tim. I mean, is that just an understanding? Like what sprint car racing is. You see all these different injuries. Now you have a 17 or 18-year-old son out here racing. That isn't something that ever comes in y'all's mind, is it? Like, hey, we're gonna get. I know, like not preparing
Well,
for an injury, right? But it's like it's something's got to be in the back of your mind, right? I'm sure when Laura's watching a broadcast and she hears Landon Crawley's in turn 2 upside down, like I'm sure,
yeah.
like, even as long as you have been doing this, you've been doing this for 40 years, you can never prepare yourself for something like that until you hear that, like, okay, he's okay, or this and that. Like, sprint car racing it's very unnerving. It really is.
Every driver, I believe, kind of looks at that differently, you know.
Yeah.
You so me personally, I've not talked really to Landon about this a whole lot, but I know because everybody's going to handle it different. Some people can walk out to a really ugly crash scene and see somebody leave in the helicopter and it like not mean anything to them. But everybody's different. Everybody's wired different. So myself, anytime I ever saw a really ugly wreck, I mean, I was one car behind Ronald Laney when he died at East Bay. And I knew Mark and Ronald was sitting there. They were by themselves. And we got out of the cars. Tommy Estes was running ASCS back then. And, you know, I got out and I walked over to Mark because I know him, I'm friends with him. And you just knew. I mean, when things like that happen, there's just a cloud or an air that comes in there and it just gets quiet and you just know. Well, to me, every driver processes those situations different, I think. But let's just say you see a really bad wreck. I would generally, if it was, I took it like if I personally knew you, I might get close enough just to check on the situation or be involved.
Yeah.
But if we're really distant friends, we're just barely acquaintances, I would literally, I walk away from that and just keep my head in my business. That's just kind of the way I would attack it because you can't the problem is, you know, I'm not degrading or uplifting any series or nothing, but what I fell in love with about sprint car racing. So I started off in limited late models. I drove door cars for a few years first. I wanted to get in sprint cars first, but a guy died at Little Rock and my uncle's wife said no, and it derailed me for a few years getting into a sprint car. So I drove door cars first, limited late models, then into late models. But my passion, my drive was always to get in a sprint car. Well, those first few years of racing door cars was just almost like leaving the go-kart track that I left. A lot of just mashing and rooting and bumping and grinding around the bottom. And people in a door car, you know, there's no fear of consequence. So if I bump Cortland last week and we go to another track next week, he's got that on his mind. He's still pissed at Crawley. I'll just go in here and, you know, I get the chance. I'm going to rough him up. Well,
Yeah.
in the sprint car world or anything open wheel, non-wing,
Can't,
midget, sprint car,
can't do that.
you can't play ball like that
Can't.
because it can backfire on you and you'll be the one going for the ride. So
Yep.
you don't have that, I'm going to crowd you. Oh, I see Cortland coming on the bottom. I'm going to push him to the bottom. You don't have that shit. You have to have the respect where instantly if somebody's faster than you, you let them go. You don't play all this crowding bullshit because you do, you're the one could be injured. So that's, as far as talking about injuries and your headspace on that type scenario, every driver is going to deal with that different. But at the highest level, I can promise you, you take somebody like Carson Macedo and even Ryan Timms and these people, everybody's starting to get into things just like NASCAR is. There's people going to like sport coaches and everybody's hand-eye coordination. They're starting to throw balls at the wall and doing these games that are hand-eye coordination. And so everybody is trying to step their game up. So your headspace, when you see a bad wreck, the best thing you can do is just go back to your team, go back to your car and block that out of your mind. Because if you get that too much saturated in your mind, you might not run quite as hard against the wall at Eldora, or you have to keep that just on the edge. I'm going this much harder. You got to stay this far above your comfort zone at all times to be at that level. The WO guys, the high limit guys, man, I'm telling you, it's just their pace is just fierce. I mean,
insane.
When the green light comes on, you got to be a few tenths of a second ahead of that green, and you've got to, it's just go for it. And if you don't, they'll suck you up. I mean, they'll just burn you down. They'll just hurt your feelings. And that's, I don't tell Landon much of anything other than just trust your instincts,
Yeah.
do what you do, just be smart, but give it everything you got. Go where they ain't and give it everything you got at all times. But just try to use some judgment to it.
Judgment. Yeah.
You can't drive crazy, you can't drive way over your head. But at that level, you do have to take a lot of chances. You got to scare yourself all the time. And I think wrecks and bad accidents, you just have to kind of stay
Yeah.
away from them, block them out. You don't need to go and just look at too many bad wrecks, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I do think it'll get in the back of your mind if you're not careful.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how I was trying to shape that question, but you answered it like perfectly, Tim. Like, thank you for that, because I wasn't sure exactly how I was trying to say it, but more or less, because you had mentioned those crashes at Eldora, I would imagine that could get into the mind of a driver, right? When you're going out there, top, Mach 1 speed, 140 miles per hour. Like, I would imagine it's hard to dial back in when you see 3 or 4 of your fellow compadres out there down and going into an ambulance, right? Like, how do you lock back in after something like that? Because there were some vicious crashes at Eldora this year for the Kings Royal. I mean, it was just, they were tough.
Yeah.
They were tough to watch. Like, they were hard to watch on our end, on the broadcast side. So, man, I'll tell you what, Tim, we could sit. I feel like I could talk to you for 5 hours, and I feel like we could have great conversation. Unfortunately, I don't have 4 hours a night, but I would, I would love, man, I'd love to have you back on and talk more and go more in depth about sprint car rate. Talk about late, man. There's so much different shit I'd love to talk to you about. Pick your brain, man. I just love talking to you, man. You're so knowledgeable about the sport, and I love the fact that you're learning this side of the sport too from the promoter's perspective. And I've said it all year too on the mic. David Burleson and I'm the voice of 67. I get to join him up there. By the way, thank you for that. I love the racetrack, and I love being there every chance I get. But we talk about it all the time. Like, Tim pours just as much into this racetrack as he did when he was behind the wheel, and I know you've alluded to that a couple of times, man. So just thank you, man, because 67 Speedway could very well be sitting off of I-30 or on the other side of 67 dormant right now with no racing going on. That racetrack could be sitting there, and there could be no racing, man. Y'all resurrected a racetrack that was on the brink of death. And, man, so much respect for that. You mentioned him as your business partner. We ain't got to throw names out there tonight. But, man, you have a great business partner there, man. And, he's really a great guy too, man. It's just seems like everything is clicking. Before you get completely out of here, I do want to roll back around. So tell the race fans what time everything's going to get kicked off this Saturday evening for the Monster Truck Show, what time they need to arrive, or what time you'd recommend for them to arrive, and what time does everything start getting kicked off?
Yeah, the front gate's going to open at 5:30. They've got a pit party. I believe it's 5:30 to 7:30. They do some interaction, with the general admission people coming in and doing. They got a ride around truck for fans. They've got where they can meet and greet and sign, get pictures and autographs and all that. And then 7:30, I believe, is the actual track show starts. They've got that Tough Truck Series. It'll be making laps, doing their I call it goofy, silly stuff. Should be fun to watch those small trucks run over some of these pretty good jumps. But yeah, it should be from roughly 5:30 to I think 9:30, and then they'll do some post race stuff after the event's over. I think they can go back to the fans can go down and see their drivers and stuff. So there should be freestyle, the tough trucks, and just a course activity with the trucks that'll be here. But the gates open at 5:30. We'll have the beer cold and the hot dogs hot, and we'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah,
And then
concession stands will
again,
be the sessions will
ahead.
be open too, right? Everything will be open.
Oh yeah, everything will be wide open, ready to go at 5:30. So really looking forward to it. Since we've been on the phone, I've done seen 2 more updates on pre-sale tickets. So man, it looks like we're gonna have a hell of a crowd. I think it's gonna be good.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna work real hard. The monster truck people are coming in Thursday to help finishing up the course. They go out there and we got a school bus to jump in the middle of the infield. They should get some really big air. Should do some pretty cool tricks. They'll come in there and paint everything pink and blue and green, get everything dolled up to where it looks cool.
Something
So
tells
I'm
me that
looking
Tim
forward to it. I think it's gonna be a good
something
time.
something tells me, Tim, that you're gonna find your way behind a freaking monster truck Saturday night. Something
They probably
tells
won't let
me
me.
that Tim Crawley's gonna find the wheel of a
They,
monster truck Saturday.
they're probably not gonna let me go out there and tear this shit up. Those things are pretty expensive, but
But you
don't think
damn
I
sure
wouldn't
do
get
it.
in one.
You
All they'd
damn
have to
sure
tell
do
me
it. If
here.
they, yeah, Lord be just over there shaking her head like, I cannot believe this shit. Hey man. Hey
I'd
dude, thank you
do it in
so
a
much for your
heartbeat, man.
time tonight, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Tim. We appreciate your time. And man, I can't wait to get back out to 67 Speedway. Everybody go out and support this Monster Truck Show. And don't forget also, before you get completely out of here, the dates for the short track nationals are October I have them up here in my notes somewhere.
24th and 25th.
Yeah. And you have a rain date, correct?
It'll be the following weekend if we get rained out.
If it's
we're
necessary.
not getting rained out. The 24th
We're not.
and the 25th. It's gonna happen. That's it. We're racing.
That's
Mother
right.
Nature's on our side this year. Yeah, and on the flip side, hey, if you're not coming to the Monster Truck Show, go to Rocket. What's this weekend? The Twin Fives? Is it two 5,000 win shows this weekend? So Boot Hill's off, right?
Yes.
And then so Arclitec's off too. They got
Arclitex is racing. Arclitex races on Saturday.
Yeah. Man, I don't care where you go. I don't care if you come to our place. If you go to Arclitex, go to Boot Hill, grab somebody new. Get somebody that's never been and make them go with you. I don't care if you have to pay their way. Let's get some new fans in the stands. I don't care if it's us, Rocket, Arclitex. Get some new fans in the stands.
Sounds good to me, Tim. Everybody go support Tim Crawley this weekend. That's the man. That's the Crawl Daddy, multi-time ASCS national champion. Thanks so much for your time tonight, Tim, man. You be good, brother. We'll see you this week. I think Tim signed out right there. His internet kicked him off or either that or my something ain't right. But anyway, that's Tim Crawley, folks. Hey, Cortland Smith. Now I know Tim Crawley can talk with the best of them. Like, I knew this going into it, and I knew that this thing could probably get away from us tonight. But man, seriously, I could talk to that guy all evening, man. He's just got a lot of expertise and insight on racing, and just interesting to hear him talk. You know what I mean?
As we were sitting there talking to him, in the back of my head, I'm sitting there wishing that he hung out with me till 4 a.m. at the Mike Parker Memorial, which I know he had a lot more going on getting the track working already, but he's definitely one of the dudes that after the races one night, you just want to sit there and hang out with, because I'm sure the stories that he could tell is, just his insight and everything that man's done, man. And he's from racing a sprint car everywhere that he's done it and everything he's accomplished to now, essentially resurrecting 67 Speedway and making it one of the premier destinations, man, wanting to put on high limit races and the short track nationals, comp cams races. The dude's doing everything he can, and you could tell he poured his heart and soul into everything he does. That's, if you don't believe that, then you can go hop in the pond because you're a silly goose, because he absolutely works his tail off on everything he does. And like you said, you can talk with the best of them, but in the back of my head, all I'm sitting there going, I'm going to have to hang out with this dude after the races one night. Like, whenever he's, he's still being promoter mode, I'm sure, but when he's a little bit more chillaxed and we're just hanging out, like, I'm guaranteed you, Tim Crawley, like, he's a dude, man. Like, he's just one of the boys. Like, he's just one of the boys.
He really is. We were hanging out after the frenzy, all singing. He started us off with karaoke. He had to break the ice. Yeah, my man. He is a hell of a good time, no doubt, man. So, hey, this podcast, we know it's going to be a little bit lengthier than all the other ones. We had Tim on for about an hour, but we're going to get to the West Grigsby Memorial, of course, the World 100, the IMCH Super Nationals. We'll get to that here right now on episode 51 of Clark After Dark. And we don't even have to really talk about the Ryan Tims because he already mentioned that for us. So good deal there.
He covered it better than we could. I guarantee you that.
Like he did. So the West Grigsby Memorial was at the Boot Hill Speedway this past Friday and Saturday night. Of course, had the practice on the Thursday evening. Let's just jump right to it, man. Skeet Amison got a very popular USRA limited modified win for the tune of $5,069. We talk about it all the time on this podcast, man. You got to put yourself in position. And what did the F5 car do? He had himself in position after one of the more wild races. I'm going to get on here and tell you that I can't recall a time when the top three all wiped out under one caution, because I can. I can recall. If you recall, we've talked about that a few times on this podcast at the 30K earlier this year, right? The top three got wiped out there. So, yeah, shit gets crazy in Greenwood sometimes. So that's what happened this past weekend. So, man, we had a really good green flag run there. The first cup, we had a few cautions there. So on the original start, Derek Grigsby got the best of the 36. Looked like, okay, it's going to be tough to beat 69 tonight. Caution comes out, so they had an original restart. Connor Mewborn got the better to the 69 there, and he led it for the next 36 laps. All the way up until, and everybody's seen the viral video go around, all the way up until entering turn number 3, simultaneously as a caution flag is coming out, Cortland. I don't know. Like, looking at the replay, it looks like the way his rear end snapped on, I thought he hit something slick in the corner. I thought he hit some fluid. or something, but Connor, the car just snapped out underneath him, and it caught the wall, and then he went up and over. So eliminate Connor Mewborn from getting the win, unfortunately for him. He gets knocked out of the race under caution. I mean, just crazy shit. And then at the bottom of turn number 2, Chase Hatton loses power, battery goes dead, collects the K1 of Guidry. They're all in the top 4, eliminates the K1 of Guidry, eliminates Hatton. We go back to green. Derek Grigsby, I mean, honestly, like the storyline was falling right on 69's shoulders. He's about to win his dad's memorial race, the West Grigsby Memorial. You can imagine how emotional Derek probably was riding around under caution out there, just thinking about the possibility of it. And then on the restart, 69 catches. I'd have to go back and see it again to see exactly how he caught it. But Cortland, 69, catches the turn 2 wall where Colby Williams called it. He didn't catch the catch fence, though, and actually the car didn't catch the fence. It did catch the fence, but he caught it at a different angle. Derek Grigsby goes upside down. We have now eliminated the top 4. Here it is right here in the USRE Limited Modified feature on Saturday night. I mean, this is the first time I've seen this back. So I don't know where the car called in, but dude, main thing to be said here is what an absolute heartbreaker for both Connor Mewborn and certainly for Derek Grigsby, with all things considered and everything that was at stake for him, man. What a heartbreak.
We might have seen a race where the top 3 gets taken out and the storylines and everything gets flipped up on side their head. But the way that these two went out is just, it just adds to that level of craziness. Like Connor goes in there, backs it in. It looks like the bumper or T-bar or something gets caught in the fence, just like he was obviously jacked sideways there. And then Derek goes in there on the restart, and it looked like he kind of kissed it with the right rear first. And whenever you hit it with the right rear, if you hit it too hard, that front end's going to slap around on you. And then it just kind of climbed up there and climbed the wall. Another thing, just on top of the crazy storyline, just thankful nobody was hurt on the backstretch. And if this is not your warning, I know I've probably said it a couple times, like, please back up and keep your head on a swivel when you're standing on the back straightaway at Boot Hill, because my boy Bubba and Rollo, they try to keep her around the lip sometimes, and it can get pretty sketchy like that. But dude, just an absolutely crazy feature. The storylines were just all over the place. You couldn't describe it all. It was absolutely crazy. Like, that's just the bottom line. If you weren't entertained out of that, then I don't know what to give you for a limited modified feature race.
I know Derek will probably think about that over and over and have a hard time coming to terms with it, since he was just so close, and I'm sure he could grasp it, right? Skeet ends up putting himself in position and scores the $5,069 win. And I liked what Skeet said down there in Victor Lane, man. He even mentioned Wes Grigsby, and alluded to some of the battles that they had in street stocks at Boot Hill back in the day. Skeet is one of the best. He really is. Like, if you've ever met Skeet Amison out of the race car, I mean, you have no other choice but to love the guy. I mean, he's truly an awesome guy. He's a former USMTS modified winner, dude. Skeet's been racing for many, many years. He's won in late models. Anything he races, he's won in it. The F5 car was rolling on Saturday night, and again, he put himself in position. Congratulations to Skeet Amison for a very popular win for him, and a overdue win too, man. Robin, his sister, was messaging me on Messenger throughout the races. She was tuned in watching live on RaceON. Lane Brashear's over there helping turn wrenches, man.
Yep.
It's a truly just local, just a really tight-knit family affair for that racing team. And it was, despite those other guys, all their bad luck, man, it was pretty cool to see Skeet come out on top.
100%. Everything that he's raced and everything he's won and all that he's accomplished. This is definitely isn't one whenever people are going to look back and say, oh, the top 3 wrecked out, he got lucky. No, the dude put himself in position to be up there.
Right.
And if his accomplishments can't prove that he's a wheeler, then I don't know what more to tell you. The dude's got a check with $5,069 on it. That's about all I need to see to tell me he's a wheeler. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? I'm just saying.
I do hear you. Also, Cody Myers. So there was 2 drivers there on Saturday night that got overdue wins. Cody Myers, unbelievably, he had not had a victory yet this year. So Cody Myers finally is no longer unvictorious, if that's a word. But anyway, he's now victorious. First win of the year for Cody Myers and I would almost said 55M, 25M. He's the $250 M car this year. But Cody Myers got up on the wheel, and listen, it ain't like he just looked up into this one either, because he had to duke it out with his teammate Brett Frazier. And when Brett Frazier's up on the wheel, son, you're going to have to earn it. I mean, Brett Frazier was out there slide job city, dude. The first 10 or 12 laps of that factory stock feature were what we love factory stock racing so much for. It was a really, really good race, and Myers came out on top.
100%. An absolutely phenomenal race there. dude, it was wild. Just, I mean, all really the feature races between the factory stocks and limiteds, dude, both of them were just fantastic. And like you said, Cody getting a very much overdue win. When you put the Twin City cars out there, they're going to be fast. It doesn't matter. You know, they got that team right there has got some fast USRA factory stocks coming out the stable. So for him to pick up the win, man, I know he loves it. Dude, he's probably been, Zach, I know you know this better than I would. He probably has more factory stock starts at Boot Hill Speedway than just about anybody else. You know, like he is tried and true in the factory stocks at Boot Hill. And, you know, he's definitely one of the, you know, when you talk about the upper echelon of factory stock, you know, you got your top, you know, we can name our top 4 or 5, but there's about 20 dudes that you put on a list that Cody Myers makes that 20 dude list of just being one
Myers
of the
top 10.
There you go. I'm just saying.
I would think.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we can save that debate for another day. But I'm just saying, dude, he's just one of them certified dudes. And when he gets behind the wheel of a factory stock, especially at Boot Hill Speedway, you got to put him in contention. And the fact that he hasn't won this year yet, it's kind of crazy just for how much speed that team has and how good he really is, man. That you know, week in and week out and year after year, and just how much he's raced in those things. But really cool to see him win that, man. He, like you said, it wasn't easy by no means when you got Brett Frazier down there nipping at the heels and throwing everything he can at him. And at the end of the day, my old Cody Myers picks up the win, and I'm sure he was very ecstatic about it.
Yeah, Myers is a true factory stock stalwart. He's been running them since 2005. I mean, it's crazy to think that was 20 years ago, and he's been doing it for that long. Long hair, don't care. Got the win on Saturday night, man. That was pretty cool to see, man. And he dedicated the win to his dad. You know, his dad had to go back to the hospital. You know, his dad's been dealing with some health issues, and we wish Bob, you know, all the best. And we hope that we pray that he's getting better. And man, Cody was pretty emotional in Victor Lane. You know how much his dad means to him for him to get that win. And that, hey, we talk about it, racing's more than racing. And that was another prime example. Man, Cody was in tears, and you could tell how bad he wanted it. Like sometimes you can just see it, like how a guy's driving his race car. Like, man, this dude really wants it tonight. You could tell on Saturday night, Cody Myers really wanted that win, man. It was good to see him cash in and get paid dirt for that. Also, T-Dub, Talon Will. There's only one T-Dub, sorry. Tim Ward won the Super Nationals in Boone, Iowa at the Super National. But it's just been kind of, I've been trying to find Talon a nickname, and I can't. It's just, I can't. I'm trying. So anyway, the 10-mile Louisiana driver the other night, or dominated on the weekend. 10M to Victor Lane. No surprises there, but he dominated the USRA B-Mods for $3,069 total dollars. And hey, he hadn't been to Boot Hill in a couple of months. He's been off, you know, he's raced the other car. He also raced Chad Comer's Limited. That one didn't go so great. It had ran into some bad luck there. But, man, I'll tell you what, when Talon Willis shows up with that damn CDR B-Mod, he is a tough customer every time. He's so consistent.
Man, when you put the, you know, essentially the best modified B-Mod cars out there, you know, that's, I mean, if anybody wants to argue that, they can. I'm just saying, when you think of best chassis out there in the modified world, you're going to put CDR up there in that conversation, and you can argue it however you want to, but they're up there in that list. And when you put a driver like Talon Willis in that car, and he goes around and he's really good buddies with Cade and them, you know, he gets to go on the road with them during the summer when he's off of school, you know, just that whole program, the way it's set up, dude, it's just, I mean, it's a recipe for success, and that's not taking nothing away from Talon, dude. You got to get behind the wheel and drive the crap out of it, because I know he ain't got nothing different than anybody else has. I'm just saying, he's just got really good equipment, and he's a really good driver, and he can get the job done in it, man. And it's really lights out. You know, Cody Tupper is essentially, you know, I've argued that he's kind of the best B-Mod guy out there, you know, around the Arklatex, just because of how much he's won and going off and won everywhere. And Talon Willis just dominated the weekend. You know, essentially just there was nobody else in the race for the lead this weekend, and it was obvious from the get. You know, and that's no shout to nobody else, man. That 10M is just when they're dialed, he's dialed.
Adam Willis sent me this text message. I didn't know that I was going to mention this on the podcast tonight, but this message really meant a lot to me. He sent me this message. So during the race the other night, I said something along the line of, Talon Willis has got the money in the honey, or honey in the money. And I said, I'm not really sure what that means. I said it like live on the broadcast. Listen. So the honey in the money, right? Sounds stupid. It's just me up there freelancing, not really knowing what the hell I'm talking about. So Adam sends me this message on Sunday morning. I mean, I was kind of taken aback from it. He said, man, I'm about to send you something. I said, okay. He said, I know you wasn't sure what it means, but I can tell you. So last night after the races, I was wishing that my mom and dad could have been there to see Talon get that win that he pours his heart and soul into. Well, you let me know while I was watching the replay that she was there. So my kids called my mom, quote, honey, and I started Forest Hill Growers 9 years ago due to her having a very good customer base to start the company. Well, she passed 7 months after I started the company. We were able to continue the business with the help of my sister using my mom's customers. That business is the reason I was able to fund Talon's Racing. So there really is, quote, honey in the money. And he said, thank you. Love you, dude. I mean, dude, it's just little things like that. Like we talk about racing being more than racing. When I get a message like that from Adam Willis, and me and Adam have been friends for years. Before Talon, I mean, I want to say before Talon was alive, but before Talon was even thought of to be a race car driver, Adam and I have been friends, like, but when I get a message like that, like it brought a tear to my eye. Just for a race to mean that much to that family, and for him to give me that kind of feedback on what a little term that I said, like we talk about the Lord's speaks to people in mysterious ways. You talk about the Lord speaks to people in mysterious ways. And my words that I thought I messed up the other night talking about honey and the money, but really it was the Lord putting those words right on my tongue for Adam to hear it in that way. And I'll always believe that. Like that is the power of the Holy Spirit. And I know that y'all didn't expect me to take that route on Clark After Dark, but dude, like that kind of gives me chill, but like that just makes me happy. And that's all I got to say about that. But I just wanted to share that with everybody right here, right now.
There's nothing I can add to that to make that any more special. That's all I got to say. I mean, if it's like right, it's I say God's got a sense of humor and he's got a funny way of doing things in your life. It's be like, man, they are still up above watching and everything, man. And there's not much more I can say on that, man. That's absolutely incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. So the totality or the all of your results. Jack Conner got the Sportster win at Boot Hill. Ashton Burford got the rookie Sportster victory on Saturday night. So that's a wrap on the Boot Hill. Hey, what do you say? It took us 2 hours to get here just about, but World 100 at Eldora Speedway, sold out crowd at the Big E, dude. When you saw that, I mean, we thought it could be a possibility, but when you saw that sea of humanity and all those cars in the parking lot, like as far as you can see, what a beautiful sight for motorsports on Saturday night in Rossburg, Ohio.
Dude, I mean, I'm telling you right now, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just grinning ear to ear because it's almost one of those deals when you see that, even in the video, you get chills because it puts into perspective just really how big this thing is. And the dirt track community, we take a tiny town in Rossburg, Ohio. I mean, we're out in the middle of cornfields and we turn it into this just epic scenery of race fans, racers, people having the time of their lives, man, enjoying it. And they absolutely get to see one of the greatest spectacles in motorsports, the World 100. I mean, it is absolute. I'm getting chills thinking about it because like it's when truly, man, like, I mean, if I haven't proved it yet, dude, I love this racing with all my heart, man. And it's something really special, but when are we going? I mean, soon, I'm telling you right now. And it sounds like we better buy tickets ahead of time because they'll sell out. You know what I mean? Like it's just, dude, what this sport has grown to and accustomed to and what all we're doing, man, from drone shows. And I mean, dude, just $100,000 50-50 raffles. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was 100,000 this year. I know it's been in years past, but just, man,
it was 143.
143. There you go, bud. $143,000 for the 50-50. Go ahead.
This is a conversation I was going to have with you. So I don't know if you've heard this on the broadcast on Friday. Dustin Jarrett comes on and he says that the 50-50 was unclaimed from the previous race, which was like $40,000, and it rolled. First of all, how does that go unclaimed? Like, if you know that you bought a 50-50 ticket, right? Like, just take this as yourself, Cortland. If you know you bought a 50-50 ticket at Eldora Speedway, or you went to Eldora Speedway or Eldora5050.com, don't you know you bought a 50-50 ticket? And don't you think it would behoove you to check those numbers and to see maybe that you won $40,000? Not this person. They didn't. They don't want their 40 grand. And it wasn't like, hey, give it to somebody or donate it. It was just like, hey, we don't really give a shit about 40 grand. That's pretty wild to me. But congratulations to the guy who won $143,000 on the 50-50 Saturday. It's insane.
I'm just going to say some of those 50-50 customers, we talked about the group of people enjoying themselves. They may have enjoyed themselves a little too much and might not remember they bought a 50-50 ticket. And
That's
that
a
would
good
be
point.
that would
Yeah.
be the biggest waste of a good time I've ever had in my life. That's all I got to tell you. It was if I just
Yeah.
completely forgot and I won 40 grand on a 50-50 raffle. But anyway, the dude won double what the World 100 feature winner won, essentially. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, it's nuts, dude. Eldora Speedway, the World 100. I said it last week, dude. It's I've got to get up there. I swear, when I was a
I
kid,
do
when they
too.
first started live streaming it, sorry, Darty. He knows I did it whenever the credit card statement come in, but I stole his credit card and bought the purchase whenever, however young I was, whenever they first started streaming it. He was mad at me,
Yeah.
but he ain't mad at me now. I don't think we'll cover that bridge one day, but just like that race is just awesome, dude. And you could tell it just, man, that is the World 100. It's the World 100, man. It
Dude.
is just absolutely phenomenal. And the racing that it puts on and the guys that it draws and just the attention and everything around it. It's incredible.
Let's get into the nuts and bolts of the racing, right?
Let's go.
And I don't know if we start Thursday. Okay, so let's just get to it. Thursday and Friday, Davenport and McDowell won both of the prelims, both Thursday and Friday night. So you had a pretty good idea, like, okay, these guys, they're going to be pretty good. And then we draw the 6 on the invert. Before we get to anything more on that, I just want to ask this question. And this is a hindsight 2020 deal completely when I ask you this, right? Were we underselling the potential of Ricky Thornton Jr. actually winning this race? Because I mean, you look at it in that way, right? Like, nothing in his prior performances at the Big E could have made you think that he was going to win the World 100, even after the prelims on Thursday and Friday, which Davenport and McDowell dominated. But am I shocked that RTJ won the World 100? And I'm sure you would agree. Absolutely not. We're not shocked that he won the World 100. But we always talk about Eldora being in its own deal, though, right? Like, it's its own deal. And sure, RTJ's had some solid runs at Eldora before. But I mean, I didn't forget about him, but like, if you got to look at this in hindsight, but maybe he was poised coming into Eldora, right? Like, he wins at Lernerville, he wins at Port Royal the week before, and I mean, he wins all the time, but Eldora is its own animal. But clearly, the man had the setup. He got up on the wheel and he earned every single lap. But I mean, and they talked about it. Michael Rigsby said about it, dude, were we just overlooking you or overshadowing you? And he said that put a chip on his freaking shoulder. Dude, you don't need to give Ricky Thornton Jr. any kind of chips. When you throw a boulder on his shoulder, he's going to be a tough son of a gun to beat. And that's exactly what happened on Saturday night. Everybody else in that whole vicinity was talking about Davenport, talking about McDowell, and talking about Pierce. And not a damn person said Ricky Thornton Jr. is going to win this race. He said, Danny, hold my beer. And Ricky Thornton Jr., he got up on the wheel. And he passed Davenport under the green. It ain't like he just, like, Davenport got a flat later, but that was way after 20RT had this race well in control. Dude, Ricky Thornton Jr. did the damn thing on Saturday night. Like, there is no more debate on what Ricky Thornton Jr. needs to accomplish in racing. Like, he's won the Lucas Oil Championship. Okay, next is the dream then. But he just won the World 100. Everything that he has done over the last 2 years just got solidified by winning the World 100. What a run by RTJ.
You hit the nail on the head right there when you said that solidified everything that he's done the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, all the guys will tell you that's a reason why Eldora, the dream, and everything is so big, is because, like, when you win that race, that puts you in that next tier of elite guys. And you talk about it, we were underselling them. Walking into the weekend, you definitely, like, he's in the conversation. Like, he's never not in the conversation, but you really got to think about the 49 and the 32, especially after the 32 won last year the way he did. But then you go through the prelims, and if I got my results right down in my notes here, which I was kind of writing them fast and my handwriting's a little scribbly, he didn't even finish top 5 in a prelim Thursday or Friday. You know what I mean? So, like, and then he comes into Saturday and, just like you said, drives by the 49, and it wasn't up there on the fence and getting it elbows up. Like, I'm not saying that's RTJ style. He's been the best at, like, driving through the black and then catching Brown leaving like that. It's just, car just works really well, like, in the past couple of years doing that kind of stuff and, like, on the gas a lot. But, dude, he goes around there, and that thing was just maneuverable as any other car, and went around there and rolled around the bottom, rolled around the middle, and did it in just exquisite, not that I'm no professional analyst of driving, but like in exquisite fashion, just went around there and just put Eldora on his back and said, boys, this is mine this weekend. And that was all it was to it come Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like, he absolutely did it. Zach, Ricky Thornton Jr. needs to thank you, because you doubted him like 3 straight weeks, and the dude just goes out and wins 5-figure paydays week after week, like 50K, 75K. It don't matter. Zach Clark talked bad about 20 RT again. He'll just go win another 50K plus race.
Did I talk bad about him though? I think I just said that
No.
I thought he was getting burned up with late model racing. But even funnier, like that's a massive. He just dunked on me, Michael Jordan balls in the face style, right? Like he just dunked all over me. You know, like I want to go in sprint cars. What? Yeah, yeah. He dunked all over his balls of the face style, dude. That was like really. I felt like that's what Ricky needed to solidify the dominance that he's had. Dude, he is sitting 4th on the all-time wins list for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, and he's only been on the tour for 4 years. Like that. We know how talented he is, but can he do it in Rosberg? Well, the answer is yes, he can. And I'm telling you right now, dude, who's to say that this is the start of a run for him? Now that he's got one, like we saw what happened over the last 10 years with JD, he has 27 career major Eldora wins since 11 years ago, which is insane to think about. Like he added 2 more to the docket this weekend, Thursday and Friday. But who's to say this isn't a run RTJ's about to get on, because that's the confidence he probably needs right there, because he's going to bring that car. He said that they were going to put that car up and bring it right back for the Dirt Track World Championship.
And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more to it, dude. With like 12 or 14 to go, there's a caution, and it's 20 RT, 49 and 17M. And if it wasn't proof that Dale McDowell's stuff was good this weekend, I know JD would go on to have the flat. So obviously his car wasn't at peak performance at that time, but still, to keep Dale McDowell behind you for as good as that dude is at Eldora and rolling that bottom. And it's funny, you know, Eldora, you know, Pierce has gone up there and just pounded the cushion until it would, you know, kind of rubber up, clean up. But like, man, this weekend, dude, the old Mac Daddy and anybody that get down there and circle around the bottom real well, it paid off. And dude, just, you know, it like we said, it solidifies the 20 RT, man. With 10 to go, you got the 49, the 17M honking at your heels. And of course the 49 had the flat, but to keep the 17M at bay after he had won his 2 prelims and all the experience and everything, man, Shane and Dale McDowell, I'm not trying to make it about them at this point, but dude, that team right there gets it at Eldora. Like they got it under, they just get it at Eldora. Shane McDowell has that thing tuned up for my boy Dale to go out there and rip it like the 59-year-old man he is, and he gets her done. But man, just the 20 RT, he did it, man. That's all there is to it, man. He finally broke through with the big win, with the crown jewel win. You know, he's won a prelim before, but to finally break through, he just brings that up, that next level. Like you said, 4th on all times win list with Lucas Oil champion. They're going to go back for the DTWC. If this doesn't give him all the confidence in the world to go win another Lucas Oil championship, I mean, it might, like you said, we may we might turn around in 10 years. You led up to it. We may turn around and RTJ may go win the DTWC and turn around, go win the Dream next year. And then we'll be looking at Ricky Thornton Jr. like we do JD. Like it's just, it's possible.
Yeah, he's certainly talented enough, man. A couple more things on this weekend I've got some notes here on. But another thing, I have this question shaped here that I wanted to ask you, that and a lot of people are asking this, and another thing too, did you hear Ricky Thornton say, he was talking to Michael Rigsby in the post-race press conference. He said, what did you think when Dale McDowell pulled up alongside you on that green flag restart? He said, I thought it was over. He said, Ricky said, I thought it was over. He said, once I saw the 17-minute flash down on the inside, I thought it was it. He said, but I just had to drive that son of a bitch deeper off into turn number 3. And he said, I kept him at bay. But like, if ever, that was the question after Saturday night, if Mac Daddy starts up closer to the front, I mean, and this is one of them old deals. If his fans and butts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas type of deal, right? Like, nothing's a guarantee. You can say this and that. If he would have started here, this guy would have started here. The race is 100 laps for a reason. I mean, you got time to get, but again, maybe we're having a different conversation if Mac Daddy's starting a little bit further up towards the front. I mean, who knows? I mean, his car was so good. And then that caution did come out right when he was starting to get a run, you know, there towards the end. And who would have knows if it would have played out. But again, the cautions and everything fell, you know, to the way of the 20 RT this time. But maybe if Mac Daddy starts up closer to the front, you got to think he's got a better shot to win it, right?
You would think, you know, and then, you know, he started up front. I don't know which race it was last year. Maybe it was the Dream earlier this year. He started up front, and I mean, he still did Dale McDowell things, coming our way with a top 10 or 5 at the Big E. But man, it's just one of them deals. That's why we race. We don't know. You sometimes hear guys talk about how driving through the field, they have to move around and they find out where their car is really good at. Now, will they use their stuff up going through the field? 100%. But also, does he have all this knowledge of the track and how to pass cars and where his car is better than if he was just out front by himself, just out there Mach 1ing it for the first 20 laps and then just race pacing it? It just, you don't know. Would you think it would help him? Heck yeah, you would think it would help him 100%. But at the end of the day, dude, when you have a restart with 10 to go and you drive up beside the dude, I mean, the chance was there, and I'm the biggest Dale McDowell fan in the world. I promise you.
Yeah.
Like the old Mac Daddy, he's a dude. Heck, I got a little mini door right there of Dale McDowell. That don't tell you anything. But he had his chance, man. And it's just another Big E weekend for Dale McDowell. Just close but no cigar.
Yeah. So Pierce wasn't really a factor all weekend. I think he finished third in the prelim on Thursday, right? But like even when Pierce is off for his standard, he said it in his interview the other night, like, unless there's a little bit of brown up on the top where I can go up there and bash it, like that's the only way I can be fast. He said, I'm not fast down on the bottom side of the racetrack or the middle. And like, you knew that was kind of alarming for him, but still, even then, after hearing him talk that way, that he can still find a way to put it together on Saturday. But it just never came to fruition. For the majority of that race, he was running around 19th position. He ended up rolling up inside of the top 10 at the drop of the checkered flag. But I kind of want to have this comparison here. When you hear a driver like Bobby Pierce struggle and he's telling you he's struggling, but he's still finishing third in a prelim, you're like, okay, well, he's just struggling to the Bobby Pierce standard. And then I text you on Saturday night and I said, dude, what in the hell is going on with Brandon Overton? Right? Like, I mean, they struggled all weekend long. I did. I messaged you the other night. I was like, dude, what's going on with this Longhorn Factory team? And I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. I love Brandon Overton. But like, their struggle is a completely different kind of struggle than the 32 of Bobby Pierce. You know what I'm saying? Like Pierce is struggling and he's finishing third. But Brandon Overton, I cannot recall a time where I've saw him struggle so badly at Eldora in recent memory anyway, right? Like he's a World 100 and a dream winner. This dude finished 21st, 14th, and 23rd in the World 100 on Saturday night. Those were his prelim finishes. 21st, 14th, and a 23rd on Saturday. I don't know what's going on with the Longhorn Factory 76 team. And I've been talking to you about this a little bit over the last about the last month. I don't know what it is, but man, I think that was jarring and kind of eye-opening because he typically runs really well at Eldora. The invert hit him perfectly on the ass too. Remember on Saturday night, he drew the pole for heat 1. Like everything literally worked out for him to get bailed out. So he did in fact make the World 100. But I'm not sure he would have even made the World 100 if the invert didn't work out so well for him.
Yeah, and just to go back to the 32 struggling versus their struggles, if that doesn't tell you anything, the only reason 32 saying he's struggling because there wasn't a cushion to go rip the right rear deck out of it. You know what I mean? Like if there was a cushion to go rip the deck out of it, he'd have said, "Man, we're phenomenal. We're back-to-back World 100 winning." I'm not saying he would have won it for sure, but I mean, we all know that 32 just likes to go run around that cushion. He ain't necessarily the one to go around there half throttle around the bottom, but and he can win in any condition. I'm not saying that. It's just his program at Eldora has been factored to go run against the wall, and that's just what they've worked on the last couple of years, obviously, and it didn't pay off this weekend. But for the 76, man, it's just from the start of the year, even back in, I think it was March or April when we were talking about it, I threw the stat out there that the Rocket House car won a national tour race before the Longhorn Factory team did. And for as much as the Rocket House car struggled and Brandon Shepard joining back on, and then you got Brandon Overton, who has solidified himself as one of the elite dirt late model drivers for just his success in the 76 and the Wells Motorsports team those few years, and then to get teamed up in the house car program of Longhorn with Anthony Burrows. And it's like, we're sitting here and it's almost in the back of your mind. You're sitting there going every weekend like, okay, this is the weekend it clicks for them. This is the weekend it clicks for them. This is the weekend it clicks. And man, like you said, when they hit the invert right and he starts up front, I'm like, man, is it going to happen? This is it, this is it. This is the week. It all clicks. Like they finally got some, because they did have a lot of bad luck, and it's not like they've been terrible. They're sixth in the Lucas points, and I mean, when you're national tour racing, just to be in the top 10, dude, that's a feat in itself. But
I agree.
You're sitting there and you're thinking like, this is the weekend. Like they got they got the equipment, they got Burrows on the wrenches. I know my buddy Ryder, he's down there helping them. You got Brandon Overton as the driver. Like it's going to be one of them deals. Like it's got to happen, and it just hasn't yet. They've won a Lucas race this year. They just haven't won a crown jewel. And to Brandon Overton's status, he's gonna win one crown jewel a year, you would think, and especially in the Longhorn Factory team, you would win one crown jewel a year. It just hasn't happened yet. And there's no rhyme or reason. I guarantee you they're scratching their heads and working just as hard as anybody else. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. But I wish them all the best, man. I hope that they can get it turned around and they can start running back well to their standards again. So nonetheless, McDowell got second from an advanced 17th position. Nick Hoffman had another really good run at the Big E, man. A really good run. I think it's just a matter of time for him too. He talked about in his post race. There was years where he just dreamed of being able to race at Eldora. In a late model, right? He raced there in a modified, and for him to finish on the podium in the World 100 is pretty cool. Nick Hoffman has really come full circle and has really solidified himself as obviously one of the elites, right? And I think that this kind of performance is just has proven that. Tyler Erb is really good at Eldora, and I think that he showed that again. He advanced 12 positions to finish fourth. Uncle T has a second place finish in the World 100 too. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tyler Erb can win a World 100 before this thing's all said and done. Ryan Gustin, a driver who completely turned his tide on the weekend. Talking about a driver who was kind of mired mid-pack. That invert really played well for him too, let's be honest. But hey, one thing about that invert thing is like, sure, that invert might put you in a better position, but you have to hold serve. You see it Eldora so many times. The cream rises to the top. We know how good Ryan Gustin can be. He's a World of Outlaws winner this year. He won $100,000 at the USA Nationals or just like a month and a half ago. We know what he can do. But that invert, a good race car driver like Gustin, you can't give him the clean air and out front like that and not let him, he's going to capitalize on it. Point taken.
Yes.
Brandon Shepard came home with a 6th place. Davenport came back after getting the flat with a 10-lap rally to get 7th. And Chris Ferguson, dude, and the old Stinger chassis. Chris Ferguson advanced 18th positions to finish 8th. It's great to see Ferguson. There for a while we were pretty accustomed to him running up front. In those in the big races at Eldora and even at Lucas Oil Speedway, right? He did it. He won the Show Me 100. But man, it was great to see the Mount Holly, North Carolina driver have a good run because he's a really good driver, and I think he kind of got down there for a little bit on his confidence and didn't have all the equipment. He's been trying to get his program back up to snuff, but Ferguson with a solid top 10 finish there, finishing 8th.
Yeah, he's one that when he went to the Big E there a couple of years ago, he was in a Bloomquist car and he had a really good man in his corner there for notes to rely on at the Big E whenever you're in a Bloomquist car and run really well, won the Show Me 100 and I think he's kind of dabbled off in building his he's manufacturing racing seats now and his victory seat program. So he's definitely taken that more serious, and the racing's not necessarily been on the back burner, but he ain't racing as much as he used to. So for him to be able to go back to Eldora, and I know, the racing and technology and everything just, evolves so fast that you can't necessarily rely on everything you did back in the day, but he knows the feel that he wants at that place to go run good. So however, you got to get that feel back to go make there and make big circles around the Big E at your best. He has that feel, so he has a good idea of what it takes to run good there. And so to go there with the Stinger car and run like he did, man, hey, it's the World 100 and the dude finished top 10 at the World 100. That's probably a win for him this year for not racing for as much as he does compared to all them other guys that burn up and down the road racing 100 times a year.
Yeah, great point there. So that is the World 100, man. Congratulations to the winner of the World 100. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me, Cortland? Ricky Thornton Jr. won the World 100. There we have it. My ADD still gets the best of me, even at the ripe age in my 30s. It happens. It really, really does, man. I just gotta try to grab a hold of it and get back in the game. So here we go. We're back. Hey, Ryan freaking Tim already said it, but Ryan Timms, the first driver in 40 years to win the Tuscarora 50 and the Knoxville Nationals in the same year. Just an incredible feat that young man has accomplished, and it's great to see him continuing to knock these wins down. That one was worth $58,000 on Saturday night, and he came from 8th to get it done. It was just a driving clinic. This young man is really, really fun to watch drive a sprint car, and so that is the results on all the national racing. Man, I did want to hit on Kennedale Speedway Park being the RaceON All-Star Challenge this past weekend. Dalton Faulkner doing Dalton Faulkner things. He wins $5,000 over there, and and Kyle Wilkins won the Summit Racing Equipment Super Nationals for the Southern Sport Mod division. So congratulations to Kyle Wilkins. Trevor Egbert won the iStocks, and Eco Mod winner was Brady Sexton for what it's worth there. I just want to make this point. I've had a few guys talk to me about this and that, like, man, we'd run that damn All-Star Challenge if they didn't have, we didn't want to travel all the way to Kennedale. And it's like, well, Hubert Cash didn't mind too much. The dude drove all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas, and has hit every damn event that this All-Star Challenges went to. Literally went to the Rev. He's went to Boot Hill. He's went here. He's went there. And he came from Little Rock. I'm not throwing anybody underneath the bus. I'm just saying, congratulations to you, Hubert Cash, for following the tour. He's sitting 13th in points, and guess what? He doesn't give a damn. He doesn't, or us will say, guess what? He doesn't give a damn. That's what he doesn't give. Hubert Cash is going to show up and look the show out, even despite having a lot of bad luck this year. He has perfect attendance on the RaceON All-Star Challenge. And I'm just saying, I think that's to be commended. While everybody else wants to look for an excuse on why we shouldn't go here, like all the DFW guys want there to be more races in the DFW. And it's like all the guys over here want there to be more races here. And it's like, well, dude, like, and also shout out to Dalton Faulkner. He's the other guy. And Cody Chamberlain. There's a few that have supported every single one of these events. And by the way, I do totally understand and get it that not everybody can run all these races. That's why we gave them a drop, or I think they even got 2 drops. The drops have been calculated. I get it. I've had a few people talk to me as well, Cortland, about they don't like how the fan vote work. And I also get that too. You want your performance on the racetrack not to supersede something that a fan vote or something. But you also got to understand, RaceOn's a broadcast company, and we're trying to get more people and more eyes onto the sport. So if we're asking you to do this thing, we're rewarding you for it by giving you the points to be a part of the All-Star Challenge. Like Cody Chamberlain, he got on Facebook and he had that thing shared around, and hey, he got rewarded for it. And I will say this though, Dalton Faulkner has not been worried about a damn fan vote. That's I'm just like his performance on the racetrack has made a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like it's to some degree, you got to take some responsibility from your performance into your program. That fan vote stuff can make a little bit of a difference, but at the end of the day, it's not making a huge significant difference for you. You ultimately got to get out there and pass race cars and try to win races. I just went down a long rabbit hole. I'm not sure why or where I went there, but
well,
dude, we've been in here for a while. We've been in here for a while.
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up like this. If you don't like Hubert Cash, then you got a wet nose and long ears because you're goofy. You know what I mean? Like you got a wet nose and long ears because you're goofy. Hubert Cash is, I mean, when I went over there and talked to him at the Rev, dude, he's what this sport, he's the backbone of this sport. You know, he's a guy that drove, I don't know how long it takes to get from North Little Rock to Kennedale, but either way, he's making a lot longer drive than a lot of other dudes are going to have to make to hit all these races, and he's showing up to every single one. And to him, I've already claimed it. I'm the president of the Hubert Cash fan club, and you can email all problems, I guess, with Hubert Cash to me, and I will just tell you there is no problem. Hubert Cash is that dude, and he's also the dude that he literally went viral at the 30K for leaving the whole body off the car. And I just, like I said, dude, like guys like him are the backbone of this sport. That's the reason why
Absolutely.
we get to do what we do. And if you can't support a guy like that, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Shout out, dude. I've talked about Hubert Cash like the last 3 weekends. I'm so excited about it. Like the dude is just a homie.
Yeah, I get it. You know, and like Boot Hill had nice pay for the factory stock, so I get it why guys didn't travel over there. I wouldn't jump on anybody. I just get carried away. I'm having a good time here with it. You understand that, and I know everybody else that knows me knows that too. But the point's still taken. Like if you're going to commit to run something like Hubert Cash has done, or Dalton Faulkner's done, and Cody Chamberlain, like there's been a select guys that have chose to follow this thing, and I think they'll be rewarded for it. You know, at the end of the day, man. Before we wrap this up, you remember last week when I said, you know, if you show up to Boot Hill, you'll see that the whole Grigsby family, you know, is there supporting Derek or supporting, you know, Wes's memory. And Derek posted this picture. You know, despite all the everything and the heartbreak he went through, this is what it's all about right here. That's Derek Grigsby's whole family with him. There's a few missing that weren't there, but that's Derek right in the middle right there. That's his grandma sitting in front of him. That we talk about this sport all the time. Things are bigger than racing. This race was in memory of Derek's dad, but his whole family was there, man. They were in there in memory of Wes, you know, to show him they were all there supporting Derek. And I know things didn't go and finish the way he wanted, but at the end of the day, when he got out of the car and his whole family's down there hugging his neck and telling him they're so proud of him, no matter what, like, dude, that ultimately, like, that's what it's all about. Sure, they'd have loved to have been standing in SNS fishing in Rental Victory Lane, but you know as well as I do, man, if this race continues to happen, he'll have another opportunity, and it just wasn't meant to be this time, right? And that, you know, it's just unfortunately how the cookie crumbles this time, but there's another opportunity. We know that 69 car is going to be in the mix, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll keep the West Grigsby Memorial going. I'm sure Derek will keep on racing, and it's just going to make the one. I'll just go ahead and say it. He's going to win one if it stays at Boot Hill Speedway. It's going to make the one that he wins just that much sweeter. You know, it's going to it will have the storyline that they can go and tell generations of family about what it was. It's just like you said, racing is more than just racing sometimes, and that's it, man. When you got your family behind you, that's all you can ask for. It's a special. Such a special night, man. And I don't want to take a memorial race away from anybody, but they pop up all over the place, so I feel like it gets watered down. But man, for those weekends, those families really, I mean, it truly means the world, and that's just coming from me and my experiences. It truly, I mean, and I don't feel like I'm speaking for any family that has a memorial race for a family member that has passed away. It truly, truly, truly does mean the world. Whether you're a fan in the stands that showed up, somebody that bought a pit pass, you don't even know. Some people just show up to race and don't even know what they're showing up for. But if you showed up, it just means the world. Really, man. It really does. Those types of weekends are special.
Man, I think that's about a wrap. Is there anything additional you'd like to mention here? I was gonna say too before. Oh, I'll throw it to you in a second. Sorry.
Okay.
That this isn't a football podcast, so we can't have overreaction Monday. We record on, but golly, football season started this week, dude, and it's so crazy how Facebook comes alive when footballs. Everybody turns into a head football coach. Everybody knows everybody's the owner of the Eagle. Everybody's the owner of this. Everybody's the Dallas Cowboy. It's just so crazy. Like when you don't really have not a damn clue. But anyway, I digress. Football's back, and everybody's a head coach and an owner of a football team now. But hey, another point I want to say too before I pass it along to you. Nobody gives a shit about your fantasy football team. I'm just here to tell you now. You care about your fantasy football team, but I don't. Don't come up to me talking about it. I don't really care about helping you set your lineup, any of that. Nobody cares. You might care because you've got $250 invested into it and you're going to win $1,000. That's between you and you. Are you going to break me off $20 for my football knowledge to help you win your championship? No, you're not. So don't come over here barking up my tree telling me how great you won your fantasy football league by 40 points yesterday. I don't give a damn. Go ahead, Cortland.
While we're on the football topic,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I'm just thinking that we had an ASCS national champion on this podcast about an hour and a half ago, and now we're rambling about fantasy football. Greatest, look, you never know what you're gonna get here, folks. That's all I got to say. Whatever these two nutcase of brains get put together, that's what you get, folks. And we're sorry about it. Some weekends,
we are.
Some weeks, but this week's it is what it is. But I didn't necessarily have a full court's corner, but I wanted to mention Boone Speedway, the Super Nationals.
Yes, we were
in the stock car big dance. Jeffrey Abbey finishes second. William Gold finishes fifth. Weston Abbey 8th. Shelby Williams 13th. A lot of guys from, I say the Arklatex. We're going to claim them right now, but the Texas area guys and a lot of people that we get to watch on the RaceON platform, they went up and put it in the big dance at Boone. Other guys there, I believe a bunch of the Egberts were up there. I know JT Johnny Torres was there in a stock car. I believe Sean Graham, 36J. A lot of guys went up there and competed. But when you have 228 cars and you make the final big dance of the final 30, and you got Jeffrey Abbey, William Gold, Weston Abbey, and Shelby Williams all with top 15 runs, man, shout out to them guys. And like I said, even the other guys that traveled up there and went and competed. And then, you mentioned it, Tim Ward, old T-Dub, picked up the win, the modifieds, and Stephen Whitaker Jr. was up there. And I know he had a kind of a rough weekend. I think he said every time he hit the racetrack, he was replacing right and left side doors and ran out by day 3, I think. But, still for them guys to go up there and race that, it puts, I feel like it puts some respect on our names down here when we race, considering the dude that won an A qualifier at the Super Nationals and finishes second over 228 stock cars, finished 5th at the King of the Hill. I mean, that just adds, we can sit here and we can tally up what region's better and whatnot, but, it really puts some respect on our names. And a lot of guys had really good showings, like I said, whether it was Jeffrey Abbey, William Gold, Weston Abbey, Shelby Williams, the Egberts, 36J, Johnny Torres, Sean Graham, I mentioned him, I think I've listed all those guys before. If I didn't, I hit them all now. And Stephen Whitaker Jr., all those guys going up there and representing this, southern part, the Arklatex region, man, it really does mean a lot. And to see those guys run good is even better, man. It just really, when you want to sit there and argue what region of racing is better, it kind of helps us out there whenever we got our dudes that go up there and represent pretty well.
Truly made me proud, man. I sent Justin and Sean messages throughout the week, I just telling them, hey, man, I'm proud of you guys. Because you also have to consider, Cortland, that we don't even have an IMCA sanctioned racetrack anywhere. I mean, there's a couple in Texas. But as far as Louisiana, like this area hadn't been IMCA sanctioned for Sean Graham to build a car and basically just be chasing his dreams, right? He always wanted to have a stock car, and he's dabbled in it right over the last couple of years, and he continues to get better, dude. He won a heat race and started on the pole of the A qualifier on Thursday night, or was it Friday? But either way, like, I was so proud of him, man. I mean, he held his own. He led 5 laps of a qualifier at Boone. I mean, in a class that he doesn't get to race around home. I mean, you think about it. You're racing in a class you don't get to really even race at home unless you go to Rocket here and there, and or you go to KSP, which he doesn't do that very often. And you go up in here to an unknown and you race against 235 of the best. I mean, you're really going up here. You're going up against it, right? I mean, the chances of you making that show are very, very slim. I mean, for anybody, it's not just Sean or Justin. Justin won his heat, or no, went 7th to 2nd in his heat race on Wednesday afternoon, and then got DQ'd because he had 4.5 inches of shaft showing. Now that could go a couple of different ways, I'll tell you. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, it was. Let's just sign out. This thing's going off the rails. Anyway,
it's not off the rails. We're informational right now. We're good.
But yeah, no, I was proud of Graham and Whitehead and Abby and all them guys, man. It's pretty special that 1,200 race cars should show up to one racetrack and literally have 14 to 16 hour race days. I mean, it's insane, dude. They start racing at 1 o'clock or noon and race until 2 a.m. every day.
I mean,
It's
I'm telling you right now, I got to get to the World 100. I've been blessed to be able to go to Eldora Speedway and watch the Truck Series deal. They had big blocks there, but I got to get to the World 100 and I got to get to Boone. That is just 7 days of all the racing you can get. And there's guys that could probably show up there and race those 7 days and race more that 1 week than they would in 4 months back home. So, you know, just the spectacle that the Super Nationals is, and all the logistics and how they plan everything out, and race starting at 1 and track prep and this and that and qualifier this and point race that. Like it's a lot to keep up with, but man, it just, what a heck of a weekend that the Super Nationals is. A weekend of, I mean, I swear I know it's a week long, but I guarantee the guys that are there almost feel like 2 weeks if you're having a rough week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think Sean Lazier too I think he finished in the top 3 in the tuner big dance too on Monday or Tuesday afternoon. So shout out to him. He's a Texas racer as well. He's won at Arklatex this year. So shout out to him, driver car number 67L. I don't know if you noticed this as well, but the winner of the hobby stock big dance also won the Race of Champions, which is pretty interesting. Jake Sacco also won the Northern Sport Mod Dance and the and the Race of Champions. So Jake McBurney won the IMCA stock car big dance, and did he win? No, Mike Vandermark Jr. won the Race of Champions. But anyway, that Jake McBurney, he got a little. Apparently, he got DQ'd for questionable driving or dock 2 spots. Well, he ended up rolling through and winning that IMCA stock car feature in the big dance on Saturday. And he was pretty fired up and stoked up about it in Victor Lane because he got that DQ for a questionable slide job. They DQ'd him for questionable driving, but he was up on the wheel and got it done on Saturday, and you could tell he had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. So that was pretty cool to see it. That's a name a lot of people may not be familiar with. Drives car number 82, Jake McBurney. That is a badass race car driver right there, and be cool to see him maybe race around here, but probably won't ever see it because we don't run out of stock. So but anyway, yeah, hey, I'm glad you mentioned the Super Nationals because I said that we were going to talk about it, and I was just about to get out of here because this is the longest podcast we've ever done. So anyway, that is now we're going to call it a WRAP, folks. That's a wrap right here on Clark After Dark, unless you have anything else you need to say.
The only thing I'm going to add, because we are getting out of here, because we got stuff to do, boy. Yeah. But I just want to add, this weekend, Comp Cam's late models at the Rev, dude. If the super late models are within 4 hours of me, I'm going to talk about it. Sorry. Just going to go ahead and do a news alert there. Comp Cam Super Dirt Series is at the Rev this weekend, 2 nights, Friday, Saturday. The Doug Ingles Classics at Arklatex this weekend. Crate late models up there. The 10th annual SmackDown is this weekend, right? 5,000 to win factory stock shows Friday and Saturday night. 5,000 win Friday, 5,000 win Saturday. I mean, dude, I'm telling you right now, if
we used to race 2 days for 5,000s, remember?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, go find a racetrack. Tim Crawley said it best. I should have left it to him because my boy was speaking words of wisdom. Go find a racetrack this weekend and support it. That's all I got to say. You got 5,000 win factory stock races.
Damn, that was
hit me
loud.
with that button.
Gosh,
that was very loud. And then coming up, dude, in the next couple of weeks, you got the Fall Southern Showdown at Sabine, and we'll be previewing the Mod War 100, I'm sure, come next week. So just a lot of great racing coming up in the Arklatex, on the RaceON platform, and everything and above. Go grab a friend. Go put your backside trackside. Isn't that what you say, Zach Clark?
That is correct, sir. And I stole that from James Brown. I'm not even going to lie to you. He's the voice of Grayson County. I heard him say that once, but he probably stole it from somebody too. It be like that. So there he is, folks. That's Cortland Smith right here on the left. He's wearing the day shirt. I'm Zach Clark with the beard on the right, wearing the red shirt. Our character.
I'm the better looking one. I'm the better looking one.
That's how we did this. We put the better looking guy on the left. Hey man, great job tonight. That's Cortland Smith. He's from Alexandria, Louisiana. I'm Zach Clark. I'm from Houghton. I live in Texas, and I don't want to be here anymore. Everybody have a blessed night. We'll see you next time.
Later.